My father said, "Your brother built this family's future. Your sister protected its reputation. You never really became anything." Everyone at the dinner table laughed except me. I simply put down my fork and said, "That's okay, Dad. You'll understand soon." 3 months later, the same family that had treated me like a failure was standing outside my office, begging me to save the company they thought I had nothing to do with. I was 32 years old when my father told me I was the least important person in our family. By then, I had already stopped expecting anything different from him. My name is Natalie Carter, and I grew up in a family where success was measured by titles, expensive cars, and how impressive you looked standing next to someone else. My older brother Ryan was the golden child. He graduated from an Ivy League university, joined my father's investment company, and became vice president before he turned 30. My younger sister Chloe was the family favorite in a different way. She was beautiful, social, married a wealthy attorney, and somehow managed to turn every family gathering into a celebration of her accomplishments. Then there was me. I studied computer engineering, worked quietly, and built software nobody in my family understood. I didn't drive a luxury car. I didn't attend expensive charity dinners. I didn't post pictures from private resorts. I rented a small office downtown and spent most of my time working on something my family considered a useless hobby. My father never asked what I was building. He never asked why investors kept visiting my office. He never asked why 3 major financial institutions had started using technology developed by my company. As far as he was concerned, I was the daughter who had failed to become impressive. That changed on a rainy Friday evening when Dad invited everyone to dinner. My parents arrived first. Ryan came with his wife, Lauren. Chloe came with her husband, Michael. I arrived 10 minutes late because a meeting with a major client had run over. The moment I walked into the dining room, Dad looked at his watch. "Nice of you to join us." "Sorry," I said. "Work," Ryan laughed. "Still doing that little software thing." I ignored him and sat down. Dinner started normally, but I could feel something coming. My father had that expression he wore whenever he had already decided what everyone else should think. Halfway through the meal, he raised his glass. "I want to talk about the future of Carter Financial." Ryan straightened in his chair. Chloe smiled. Dad continued, "I've decided Ryan will take over the company when I retire." Everyone congratulated him. I clapped too. Then Dad looked at me. "Some children understand responsibility. Others spend their lives chasing ideas that don't go anywhere." The table became quiet. Ryan smirked. Chloe looked down at her plate. Dad continued, "Ryan built his career inside this company. Chloe has built a respectable family and social reputation. Natalie," he paused. "Well, Natalie never really found her place." I swallowed. "I'm glad everyone else has." Dad smiled. "That's exactly the attitude I'm talking about." I put my fork down. "You don't need to worry about me, Dad." "I'm not worried," he said. "I'm disappointed." I looked at him for several seconds, then I smiled. "That's okay. You'll understand soon." Ryan laughed. "Understand what?" "Nothing." I finished dinner and left. I didn't tell them that the next morning I was scheduled to close the biggest acquisition in my company's history. I didn't tell them that my company, Northstar Systems, had developed an artificial intelligence risk platform that could analyze financial portfolios faster and more accurately than traditional systems. I didn't tell them that Carter Financial had been quietly using an older version of our software for almost 2 years. And I certainly didn't tell them that Northstar owned the patent. My father had no idea. Neither did Ryan. That was about to change. The following Monday, I walked into Northstar's headquarters at 7:30 a.m. My chief operating officer, Daniel Brooks, was already waiting. "We have a problem," he said. "What happened?" "Carter Financial requested emergency access to the old system." I frowned. "Why?" "They say their internal platform crashed." I sat down. "How bad?" Daniel handed me a report. "Very bad." Carter Financial had lost access to several critical risk management systems. Without our software, their analysts couldn't properly process thousands of client portfolios. "Can they restore their backup?" I asked. Daniel shook his head. "Their backup is corrupted." I stared at the report. "How long?" 48 hours before regulators start asking questions." I leaned back. My father had spent years telling me I wasn't important. Now his company was depending on technology created by the daughter he barely respected. But I wasn't going to celebrate. Not yet. "Send them the standard emergency support agreement," I said. Daniel looked at me. "Full commercial rate?" Full commercial rate, he smiled. And if they refuse, I looked out the window at the city. Then they can find another solution. 2 hours later, my father called. Natalie. His voice was different, less arrogant, more urgent. Dad, I need your help. I waited. Carter Financial has a technical problem. I heard. Silence. You knew. I'm the owner of North Star Systems. Another silence. You own North Star? Yes. How big is it? I smiled. Big enough that you called me. He didn't laugh. Can we meet? Of course. Today, I'm busy, he exhaled. Natalie, please. That word surprised me more than anything else. My father had never said please to me. 3 o'clock, I said. My office. He arrived at exactly 3, but he wasn't alone. Ryan came with him. They walked into my conference room expecting to find the little office where I supposedly wasted my time. Instead, they found a 40-person executive floor, glass conference rooms, and a wall displaying the logos of companies using North Star technology. Ryan stopped walking. What is this? My company. Dad stared at the wall. You built all this? Yes. Ryan looked at me. How much is the company worth? That's confidential. Dad sat down. We need your system. I know. We'll pay. You'll pay market rate. Ryan leaned forward. We're family. I looked at him. That didn't matter at dinner. He went silent. Dad lowered his eyes. Natalie, I shouldn't have said what I said. You meant it. I was wrong. Maybe. He looked at me. What do you want? I smiled. Nothing. Then why are you making this difficult? I'm not. I slid a contract across the table. North Star will restore Carter Financial Systems within 24 hours. In return, Carter Financial signs a 5-year technology agreement at standard commercial rates. Ryan picked up the contract. That's expensive. Then don't sign it. Dad looked at his son, then at me. We'll sign. Ryan stared at him. Dad, we'll sign. They left with the contract. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The next morning, Daniel walked into my office holding another file. Natalie, you need to see this. I opened it. It was an internal audit from Carter Financial. Someone had been moving money between several subsidiary accounts, millions of dollars, and the transactions had been hidden from the board. I looked at Daniel. Who discovered this? Our software. My stomach tightened. How much? $27 million. I stared at the report. Where did it go? Daniel shook his head. We're still tracing it. I immediately called my father. He didn't answer. I called Ryan. He didn't answer either. Then my phone rang. It was my mother's number. Natalie, she whispered, your father needs you. What's wrong? The company is in trouble. I know. No, she said. You don't understand. It's worse than you think. She started crying. Someone has been stealing from Carter Financial for years. I looked at the audit on my desk. I know. Then you know what this means. I stood up. Yes. What? I looked toward the city outside my window. It means whoever did this knew exactly how to hide it. My mother went silent. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. Ryan's name is on the accounts. I couldn't speak. Natalie, I finally answered. Send me everything. 20 minutes later, the documents arrived. I opened them one by one. Transfers, shell companies, offshore accounts, authorization codes, and then I found something unexpected. The money wasn't going to Ryan, it was going somewhere else. Someone had been using Ryan's credentials. Someone inside Carter Financial had created a false trail designed to make him look guilty. I called Daniel. This isn't Ryan. I thought you'd say that. Trace the source. Already doing it. 10 minutes later, Daniel returned. Natalie, what? The original authorization came from your father's executive terminal. I froze. Are you sure? Completely. I stared at the screen. My father had spent years telling me Ryan was the future. Now someone had tried to destroy Ryan using his own credentials. But the evidence pointed directly toward Dad. There was only one problem. I didn't believe he had done it. My father could be arrogant. He could be cruel. But stealing $27 million didn't fit the man I knew. Someone else was controlling the entire situation, and they knew exactly how my family operated. I called my father again. This time he answered. Natalie. Dad, we need to talk. I know. Where are you? At the office. Don't move. He paused. Why? Because someone is setting you up. Silence. Then Dad whispered, I was afraid you'd find it. Find what? The real accounts. My heart started racing. Dad, what did you do? Not me. Then who? Before he could answer, I heard a loud crash through the phone. Dad, no response. Dad, the call disconnected. I grabbed my coat. Daniel followed me. Where are you going? Carter Financial. Should I call security? I looked at him. Call the police. He froze. Why? I held up my phone. Because my father just disappeared. When I reached Carter Financial, police cars were already outside. Employees crowded the entrance. Someone had called in an emergency. I pushed through the crowd. "Where's my father?" A security officer stopped me. "Are you family? I'm his daughter." He looked at his tablet. "Natalie Carter." "Yes." His expression changed. "You need to come with me." I followed him upstairs. The executive hallway was chaos. Ryan was standing outside the conference room with blood on his shirt. "Ryan," he turned toward me. "Natalie, where's Dad?" "He was attacked." My heart stopped. "Is he alive?" Ryan nodded. "Barely." Then he looked at me with tears in his eyes. "And there's something you need to know." "What?" He pointed toward the conference room. "The person who attacked him left a message." I stepped inside. On the glass wall, written in black marker, were 6 words. "You should have LISDNED2 NATALA." I stared at the message. Ryan looked at me. "What does that mean?" I slowly turned toward him. "It means whoever did this knows me." Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. 1 message. "You have 48 hours to choose. Your family or your company." I stared at the screen. And for the first time in my life, I realized my father hadn't underestimated me because he thought I was weak. He had underestimated me because he had no idea what I had become, and whoever was behind this was about to learn the same lesson.